Yay.
Yay, we're back. Alrighty, so we kind of talked about how I discovered your work, and okay, I don't know if it's yeah, because I know there's kind of like this little weird, I don't want to say stigma, but it's more like, oh, don't mention it or else it's gonna affect you. But I guess some of the abridged series from way back when, I would just say that.
Oh, well, I mean, it's out there. It's been out there for years. How do I say this? Is there like some people might feel sensitive about it, but there are other people who understand that it's protected under parody laws. So, I mean, Robot Chicken can get away with stuff like that. I mean, what can I say? They didn't sue Weird Al, did they? Did they?
Not that I know of. I really don't know.
Makes you think, right?
Exactly. But yeah, I guess we can kind of discuss Team Four Star because I think you did a couple of different projects with them, but I think
Yeah.
you kind of are mostly known for Chi-Chi, so
Oh my gosh, do you know the story about how I got cast as Chi-Chi?
actually no, I don't know this story, so please share.
Don't? Okay.
No.
It's a short and fun one. Basically, Antfish or Anthony Sardina, he was
Ah,
helping them
yeah.
cast for Chi-Chi, and they're like, I know who to have read for you. And they're all like, Kimlin, come into this Skype session. Skype, I know, right? And then it's sort of like
Oh my
audition.
god.
Skype, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then I came into the Skype audition, and then they said, hey, can you read these lines? Sure, okay. And then they're like, here's GBZ abridged. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll do the lines. I did the lines. Okay, bye. And then later on, they were talking amongst themselves, and they're like, I don't think she knows how popular this is. And then it's sort of like, I don't think she understands. And then after it came out, I was like, oh, it's popular. And it no stage fright whatsoever because I didn't know how popular it was. And they're like, yeah, I think it worked in your favor.
Dude. Okay, that is really funny to me because man, because I'm pretty sure that I had Devin on here and I also had Anthony on my podcast like a few years ago, and we were just kind of talking about like, I mean, this was like around the time that the SAG stuff or it's
Oh.
striking, that whole thing was going down. So I didn't even mention any of that stuff. But I think it's so funny where it's like, okay, they were just, I actually never knew this story because if okay, I know I might be misremembering, but I think somebody else was Chi-Chi, and then they were just looking for. I didn't really know that. I didn't know that Anthony was actually helping the guys just try to cast for Chi-Chi. And then you did that one session, one, two done, and then I think it was shortly after the first episode you did. That was like, okay, then that's when it really just blew up, just skyrocketed.
I actually don't know too much about Chi-Chi, proto Chi-Chi, but it's sort of like but yeah, I think it was Anthony. I might be misremembering too. It's been many years.
Yeah, yeah.
Over 10 by now, go for 10.
15 or
And
so. Yeah.
it's probably Anthony said, "Hey, do you want to audition for this?" Because I worked with Anthony on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Abridged, and then that's why he was recommending me.
Oh,
So
man.
so is there like, yeah, have her read, and I'm all like, okay,
It's like, okay. Yeah.
okay.
And then the rest just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, I mean, their direction's really good. I mean, I shared some of the videos of being
Oh my
directed.
God, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they direct like it's not like it's not shot or yeah, shot filmed like a to picture dubbing anime thing. It's like it's since they sync to you the performance, they treat it like it's prelay. So everything is sort of like directed a very specific way with a certain styling, with specific direction in mind. And I was like, oh, okay. How much you know about DBZ? Not too much, but you're my director, so you will help me. And then the rest was history. There's so much trust put into the director to know the vision more than you. And I'm like, of course you know the vision. You're the director. So
And I think it kind of helps that Kaiser is kind of like a huge Dragon Ball. He is the go-to guy when it comes to DBZ. So it's
yes, he
like,
knows. He
yeah.
knows so much about it, so he'd be able to, and he knows how to articulate the the details of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and all the Dragon Balls, like in a way that I'm all like, okay, I don't know this season. I only watched the Frieza season, and I'm like, okay, this is beyond Frieza now, so this is what happens. I'm like, oh, okay, oh,
Yeah, this is kind of what happens after. Yeah. Honestly, I think if it wasn't for Kaiser, I don't know if I'd be able to know a lot about I guess, the lore of Dragon Ball just by watching just the many breakdowns that he would do of like episode of how oh, and you did say that it's a lot like Prelay because yeah, because after the recording, I think he mostly does the all the editing, but I think some others would kind of step in here and there. But no, a lot of it is just definitely him. So yeah. And I mean, of course, I also want to mention Lanny and Taka, Moscow, and all these other guys.
of course, the thing is,
Definitely
sort of
mention them.
like since it's shot like prelay and everything, I hear that they basically have writer rooms in a way. Not like
Yeah.
literally, maybe literally, but I mean like
Maybe,
they
yeah.
actually they workshop their writing to make sure it works, and I'm all like, ah, no wonder the material is solid.
Yeah, like because I think the writing process they talked about, they would usually have like back when it was called Skype, they would just meet up on Skype and then they would just kind of get together to write an episode and then workshop it and then recording. I think you kind of pretty much know the rest by now. So
Mhm.
it pretty much is like a strong collaborative effort, which is kind of the next topic of like how strong collab can really make a really great, solid, just, project in and of itself.
Well, yeah, it's creative problem solving at the end of
And
the day, and you're,
also,
yeah.
yeah. And it's like when you're not working for like it's gonna sound terrible when I say this, but it's like when you're not bogged down by like network executives or just pitching a show to a studio or what have you, then I think when you're doing something that's indie based, like you kind of have a little more creative freedom, but there's still like, okay, because I know when you're working with a creator or just if you're running a project that like there's, a lot of discussions, like a lot of us have different just I guess specific visions of a series. So I think that kind of goes into play, but when it kind of goes together, it's like, man, you'd be amazed at what could come out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got about it. So it wasn't just like Team Four Star, but yeah, like I said, it was Fidget. It was also the Girls thing, but I still think it's so funny how you got So it was literally within the hour. You got the emails from both Christina and Devin just the same day, just back to back. I just still can't believe it.
Yeah, I was in the kitchen when it happened, and I was just like, ah.
Or no, no, no. It's either you're doing something, you're in the shower, or most of most of all, you're on vacation, and then it's like, oh. And it's
Oh my
like,
gosh, when I got cast as Vol or got the callbacks for Vol and then cast for Vol, and it was the same way. I was just like, I was just like, oh, okay. The callback was all like, oh yeah, I was at Anime Expo, whatever. And then I was all like, and then later I was like, That's cool. Go home, do the callback or something, and then at like I think I don't know if San Diego Comic Con is after AX,
I think
but
it's a
I
couple
forgot. It was a
weeks.
while. I
Yeah.
forgot if it was like I don't know. It was the timeline
No,
is
actually, yeah, it's a few weeks after AX, like
yeah,
usually in
okay, because
July.
I know
Yeah.
that meant many years ago. It was
Many
like
years
many
ago.
years ago. It was
Yes.
like that. I was just like, by the way, you're cast, and I'm like, and then I was just like,
Okay.
when I was at I was at Comic Con when they were showing off the Beyblades, and then I have a short story about that, and I was just like, I can't say anything. And then there's the kid who was playing Beyblade, and I'm like, cool, Beyblades are awesome, huh? And he doesn't know that because I didn't pay for it yet, and he's like, yeah, I guess so. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay. Oh my
But I was like,
gosh.
Sandy, it's at Comic Con. I can't say a thing, but it's at Comic
Yeah, I
Con.
can't say anything. And also this one kid that's like, yeah, I guess so.
I was like, he was just playing with it. I guess Excalius is cool. And I'm like, what do you know, kiddo? And I'm like,
And then it's like,
I'm like, okay, all right. You'll never
Alrighty.
remember me.
Okay. Wow. Tough critic over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, but speaking of Beyblade, since we kind of just segued into it, um, because I know with a lot of those sets, I mean, I can't really say that I'm the biggest Beyblade. Man, it sounds terrible just talking to somebody that worked on the show, but I can't really say that I'm too. Let's just say I'm not really too familiar with the show. But from what I remember, I know that Beyblade is kind of like it is one of those shows where it's like you were talking about. Like I was just saying with somebody else, where with different anime, there's a lot of different, I guess, styles to a show where sometimes you can work on something that's like really traumatic and dramatic. But then at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, let's go, let it rip, let's go,
Funny
yeah.
enough, it's sort of like Coco from Pokemon and
Uh-huh.
Vault from Beyblade have the same voice, but
Mm.
their acting is different. They have different
Mm.
styles, and it's sort of like some people were able to pick up and they're like, I hear Vault, and they're like, I hear
Wait a
Coco,
minute.
and
I
I'm
think
all
that.
like,
Wait a minute. Is this Kimlin? I think this is Kimlin.
yeah, exactly. And it's sort of like the acting's different.
I mean, you can. There's characters that are gonna probably have like the same, I guess, vocal quality, but the acting is just completely different. Yeah, it's kind of like when you listen to the. I'm kind of a nerd, so when you go back to like Looney Tunes, where Sylvester and Daffy are just kind of the same voice, but it's just kind of completely different. It's just Daffy is kind of sped up, but you can kind of tell that they're distinct characters.
Mel
Um,
Blanc did a really
yeah,
good
Mel.
job back
Yeah,
in the day. Holy cow.
yeah, I'm like, dude, when you really listen, kind of something fun that I would do is like I would slow down like the Daffy recordings or just pitch up Sylvester's. And it's like, okay, you could cut when Sylvester is sped up, it pretty much is Daffy, but just kind of different in a way. Where if you really listen down to both of them, it's like, yeah, it's kind of the same, but it's feels very different,
It's
which
like
I
building
yeah.
blocks. Building
Yeah, building
blocks.
blocks. And that's
Or
something
make
that
your own
Mel
burrito, but
yeah,
with voice acting.
or like if you slow down Porky or Tweety Bird, it's kind of similar to Bugs Bunny, but they're still act like very, very differently. And that's something that Mel really did so well. Um, and I guess on the subject of oh wait, and that just kind of reminds me of a story about because you talked about Crispin earlier. So I actually have a story about, getting to work with them. So I took a couple of his classes and then I did a private one-on-one and I got inviscerated because he
Aw.
was, it was just kind of
It's
like, what?
good. It's good though,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is a good feedback because you were over analyzing it and he was like, I think you kind of need to live life a little more. And mine's just like, I don't remember what he said specifically, but it's like, I think it's kind of in the similar ballpark where it's like, gotta expand, not have these really um broad or just kind of the
Specify.
basic idea of what a character's supposed to be, but I could tell that you have the good instincts, but not there's not a lot of specific choices that you're making where it's like
Mm.
you're kind of acting it out, but not like you're fully in like what a character is doing or just really getting a good sense of the story is pretty much the feedback that I got. But this was like
Mm.
years ago, and now as I'm actually making stories and just doing a lot of this other stuff, it's like, yeah. I would just remember the feedback that Crispin would give me. It's like, okay, what is their relationship with this character? And it's like, if somebody were to react this way, or what would happen if they're in a really terrible situation? Like, how would they, work together, so to speak? And it's not
Mm.
like, oh, they could just solve it with the power of friendship and teamwork, which honestly,
People are
we
doing
all
it
wish,
differently. Yeah.
yeah, life would be like that. But you also got to remember that, like, say the main character is talking to their best friend, they're not going to be like what is their relationship, what is their relationship with like this crush that they have or just this one other introvert. Like it's not going to be their relationship is not going to be the same as like the best friend or the crush or just the bully. So everybody has like completely different like relationships with each other. And that is something that took me a long time. And it's really fine if you, especially if you have a scene where you get to basically talk to yourself, just playing different characters in one scene, which has happened before. And trust me, it's fun, but it's also like, okay, I'm talking to myself. How would I? And trying to differentiate them in a way, it's that type of stuff.
Crispin told both of us to touch grass.
Pretty much TLDR, yes. Yeah, I think
Touch
that's pretty
grass.
much,
Get out
yeah,
there.
touch it. I mean, to be fair, I'm not even sure if the phrase was even really like, if it really kind of caught on when I coach with him. So it's just kind of like
Yeah.
the pre-touch grass type of. Oh, and funny story, I worked with him like a little before we were in lockdown. So that is and I was like, oh, maybe I could do his in-person stuff. And then I don't know if he does it anymore, just in person. I know he still does online, but just not in
Hmm.
person. So yeah, last I checked, I don't know, it's been years. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was fine. Like I was like, okay, now that I've kind of taken a lot of this stuff, I'm like, okay, maybe I could do in person. Nope, lockdown. Oh, that's it. Well, chat, that's it. Yeah, but
Hmm.
I was just like, when it comes to learning with different people and learning the different, just how they perform the characters is just really inspiring. Like, because you mentioned Crispin and it was also James Hong's daughter, were there anybody else that you kind of say was like, oh yeah, that kind of lit a torch inside you, or just kind of in a way really inspired you to also just see voice acting as something that is much more than just doing the,
There's a bunch,
just do
but
the
it's sort of like
voice,
Devin Mack was there at my
Yeah,
lowest lows
Devin.
and highest highs.
Hmm.
Like it's sort of like I remember there were so many nights where I'd be like, I don't want to voice act. Arrgh. What's the point? I won't get cast. I was a sobbing mess and everything. He said, let's do an audition together. And I'm like, okay, but I won't get cast. And I do it and I'm like, I feel better. And the next day I get cast and I'm like, and then he's like, I knew it. And I'm all like,
Or
that
I kind of
face.
like the John Cena. You sure about that?
I'm making
Or
the face.
just the face that you're making right now, like,
Mhm. That's it. Yeah, I knew it, says Devin, and I'm all like,
well,
I was like,
okay.
I was. He said, "You do have a place in voice acting. You got cast," and I'm like, "I guess you're right. I
I
guess I
guess you're
do.
right. You.
I wanted to be depressed and right, but I guess you're right. I don't have to be depressed."
I think it kind of happened when this was back when I actually was active on the voice acting club, and Devin did like a workshop or something, and I did
Hmm.
this one character, and I ended up stealing something that he did, where it's like a lot of the stuff that he does is like he kind of steals from other, characters and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
this is what I ended up doing. Ended up getting cast in one project that unfortunately never took off, but still, it was a
It
great learning
happens.
lesson. Yeah.
Pilots.
Yeah, a lot of so many pilots, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, I don't really control what happens with the process of creating a show, but yeah, and especially with right now, with where it's like animation and everything, like the industry kind of feels like it's imploding in and of itself. But at the end of the day, it's like you can't really control what happens like with business and just art in general. I mean, you can create stuff and but you never know. Like it's just kind of like a
Everything
big
is a
wild card.
miracle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a miracle, and it's kind of like a wild card if it ends up taking off after like a couple seasons or so, or even a
Hmm.
season now. um, so what would you say? Because I know you shared the story about Devin just being like, "Let's do an audition." You got cast. So how would you say that acting kind of really changed your life for the better?
For the better?
Yeah,
Um, I already said that at the very beginning, didn't I? But there's a lot of overlap, isn't there? Let's
I
see.
guess. Yeah.
It made me appreciate how different everyone is. That sounds dumb
Mm.
because you're supposed to do that anyways, but I mean like with more specificity to it. Way more specificity. Instead of just being like, "Oh, you're different. That's cool." You're all like, I the way that you laugh makes me smile. The way you choose to be gentle with your words and select the right words implies the subtext and reveals more about your character than I never would have appreciated unless I took acting. And it's sort of like it's become kind of like psychological in a way. It's sort of like, oh, you chose these words because you knew I would be the one who to listen to them. That relationship thing going on. And it's sort of like, oh, well, okay, I learned that you care about me more than I actually thought about before. Thank you. And I just grow closer to these people that way.
Yeah, it really is a psychological thing, isn't it? Where you have the fun, you have so much fun of playing a lot of different people, but just getting to interact and hanging out with different people is kind of what makes it all worth
Touch
it. And it
grass.
sounds so cheesy. I know, touch grass, go outside, read a book or park something, walk your dog, whatever. Just anything. Just
Go
go
out, talk to
outside,
people.
y'all. Get
Go
some vitamin,
outside.
yeah, get some good old vitamin D, and yeah, just get that sunshine air. Yeah. Touch grass. That's probably what we would end this this episode out
Title
on.
Touch Grass.
Touch grass with Kimlin Tran.
Touch
That's the
Grass with
podcast.
Kimlin Tran.
Yeah, thank you for watching the show. Go remember to go outside and touch grass.
Yeah, touch grass.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um.
gosh, like how do I say this? It's sort of like, oh my gosh, there's another story. Like when I
Mhm.
worked on Ruby as the blacksmith.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, what
I
happened is
actually
sort of
kind of
like
forgot about Ruby for a
I
second.
no, don't worry. Don't worry, I get it. It takes a while to make a thing, right? And they make a whole season. Uh, and they I can't say too much, but they do take their time so they can have that release schedule on purpose. But
Mhm.
other than that, the thing is, sort of like I went in, recorded, and I put so much trust in them because I did not know the lore of Ruby at the time. Because I know that the moment I got in, the moment I watch Ruby, it's going to become a life choice. And man, the character was talking about you are enough. And I was like, yeah, okay, you are enough. That's nice. And then after years after I recorded that, I'm all like, I will, and then I hear my own voice coming back to me saying, you are enough. And I'm all like, ah.
Just get that whiplash from yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Years later, after
I
you do the
am a
thing, and
god.
I'm like,
I do.
yeah, you're just giving like an emotional pep talk to yourself. That is wild.
Yeah, and it's sort of like maybe that person is enough. It's sort of like, is that what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Is
that
that what I'm
everything
saying
is
to
your fault and
myself?
everything. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I just have to look at it differently.
Yeah.
But yes, oh my gosh.
I'm just like, everything is all your fault. Listen back years later. Mm, yeah, that checks out.
I mean, you're not wrong. Not you. I mean, like Kimlin. Kimlin, this is all your fault. And I'm like, is that what you're saying? And I'm all like, I mean, I think it is.
Well, okay. You know what? I'm at this stage in my life where you kind of question the choices you make, and I'm like, yeah, okay, no. That actually does. That adds up. That adds up. So,
Yeah, that
yeah.
adds up. Oh my gosh.
What
Okay,
even am I
sorry.
doing with my
Big tangents
life?
everywhere. My bad. I'm so sorry.
It's okay because look, if you watch my show, it's just pretty much tangents 99% of the time anyway. Yeah. I mean, this isn't really even like an interview. It's just kind of like us just chatting about nonsense for
We're
like
just
over an
messing
hour.
around. I'm all like, sorry. Everyone's just like, oh, I'm trying to take notes about Kimlin Tran. All she does is just like make fun of people and tell them to touch grass.
I mean, look, there's like a billion different podcasts that talk about VO. This is just kind of like an excuse for just both of us to just randomly just shoot the breeze and just goof around for like an hour. That's pretty much how most of these end up being anyway. I'm not complaining, but it's like, yeah, this is what happens when you have a podcast and you don't really have like a script, just not even like going by the notes of like, da da da, how did you get into it? Like, no, just be
Yeah, I mean,
spontaneous. And
yeah,
this is what
a
happens.
framework
Chaos.
helps, but it's sort of
Yeah.
like, whoops, I jumped the script. Sorry.
Yep. No. No. No script.
What
But
script?
yeah,
Got improv now. Touch
yeah,
grass.
that's pretty much what we're doing. So I guess so to move on to the next, I think we're almost running. I'm almost out of like steam anyway.
Oh.
So what is something that's kind of been, oh boy, yeah, this is the big question. What is something that's been keeping you positive throughout the year?
My sister and everyone who's hanging out with me in any capacity, online, streaming. It's sort of like anyone who reached out to me said, "Yo, your work makes me smile." And I'm like, "Ah, I like it when I smile. So if I heard that you got to smile, that sounds awesome." So it's that those little things make me happy. It's a big question. I'm like, "Nope, touch grass, very happy. This is fine." My depression
Yeah.
is in different forms now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, look, spend time with your family. Just go to a movie or just do amusement, do a convention or something like either business or just having fun. Just do something out there. Just that's pretty much all I have. And also, if you were to think back to something, because you did share the story with Devin Mack about, just the audition and everything, but what if there's something else that, you have to remind yourself of why you just love acting, just anything in your life?
Oh, like
Yeah.
really good productions. Like I remember when I was really depressed. I know I get depressed a lot. I
I
apologize.
mean, look, we have
I
bad
was
days,
this is
so.
like like a long time ago, 10 plus years ago. I was like so depressed and I was watching Princess Tutu and I was just like this performance hits so hard. I want to contribute to a story like this. This story moved me. I want to move worlds like this. And then I watched Madoka Magica and I was like, "Oh, I'm so depressed." And then I'm like, "I want to work on this something like this, something so powerful that makes you think, that makes you feel like you can do something amazing." And now I'm all like, "Oh my God, these magical girls."
And funny that you mentioned Monica Magica because it's like you watch this show and then you actually end up working with a lot of the people that have worked on
Yeah.
Monica
Oh my
Magica.
gosh.
Yeah.
Like Sarah is
Yeah, Sarah.
Sarah,
Yeah.
Christina.
Christina again. Yeah.
So it's sort of like we have Sayaka and Homura,
Hamura. Yeah,
Homura,
I
I
think she
think,
she
who
plays
are both
Homura.
like,
Yeah.
"Yay, we are magical girls." And then I work with Lauren Landa, who is also in Skullgirls, and it's sort of like, "You don't want to be a magical girl, Kimlin. You don't want that wish." And I'm all like, "Mhm."
Oh, I don't know about that. And also, talk about very different. Like we were just talking about different like characterizations and roles. Like you just jump from Kyoko to like I don't know what's her
Wiggly?
character's name. Winley, yeah. Just jumping from one to the next is like, man, talk about contrast, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just acting in general. Like we were just talking about similar, but just talk about like roles that are just so completely different from one another, where it's like, oh, that's the same actor. Okay, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like that one meme where they're like, "I'm edgy McEdge Edge, and I also voice for a fish." Have you seen
Yeah.
that meme?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm voicing this. I'm just gonna voice this character now. But now I'm also this character
Yeah.
in the same show.
In the oh, I was like, "I hate life." Have you thought about touching grass?
I swear there needs to be a meme where it's like, you know how people are like, I'm a voice actor, and then they start listing characters that they've done. We should probably do a meme where it's like, I do not like humanity, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a voice actor. I do two characters in the same scene. Can you tell?
Bodoggy.
Oh yeah, different. Oh yeah, and you also do creatures. So it's like, yeah, different creatures in
Yeah.
one scene. I'm like, man, that's something that we don't talk about a lot.
We
Creatures are fun.
don't. I could go on about creatures because I got to voice for some toys. It's like it's fun. I'm they ask for so much specificity for toys and stuff. Like if you thought from my experience for voice for only two toys. So it's sort of like toys with an S, but it's only two toys. But it's also like if you thought playing a video game and voicing for a video game is like, okay, there's specificity here. Same goes for toys because the kid has to understand the feedback that's coming from the toy when they interact with it. There's a difference between thirst and hunger, for instance. How do you differentiate it? And then you have to differentiate it between from a scale from one, two, three, and five. And then you have multiple takes for each of those. And then it's sort of like, how do you record it in a simple enough way that it can fit on the chip of the toy? And then it's sort of like, oh yeah, huh? Makes you think, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, I haven't really done toys, but this is kind of new information for me.
It's fascinating. And then you have to remember your audience too, your scene partner and your audience. And then you have to think about, oh, who's your audience? The kid. Who's your scene partner? The kid you're playing with. So you
Hmm.
can't just make an ultra realistic National Geographic level realistic creature sound. You have to make something that wouldn't startle. How old is this kid? And we're like, uh-oh. And then you have to be like, okay, no National Geographic platypus. We can do Perry the platypus instead. I don't know. That sounds pretty close. But the thing is that there's a reason why when I worked as voice matching for Rarity, they said not dangerous fear, roller coaster fear. And I'm like, oh, there's a different fear for it. And it's sort of like, there's so much to this world. Creative problem solving is so much fun.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how something simple like that can really make a large difference when it comes to portraying, like, just really nailing down the personality of a character.
Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like that level of specificity, be
Exactly.
specific, not broad, will help make a character come to life because everyone's an individual.
Yeah. And I'm just like, when you watch something, it is like watching a different TV series as well, because you could probably watch something that's like, bright, colorful, like SpongeBob, and then you could just kind of go watch something that is like Netflix adult animated stuff like BoJack, or something like Rick and Morty, or just
Yo,
shows like
I
that
don't
that are
know if
just
you know what Fable is. Are you old enough to know what
Fable.
Fable the video game is?
Oh wow, Fable the
Yeah,
video
that's
game.
a
I've
like
heard of it. I not sure if I'm too
okay, I'll
familiar
use
with it.
World of Warcraft instead.
Okay, yeah.
Alrighty. Now compare the performance in World of Warcraft to Skyrim.
Oh
They're
yeah.
both
Hmm.
fantasy. They're both fantasy, but they're different. They have different things going on. So it's very fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like when you watch a lot of different shows on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, like say you watch something from, Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack, same creator by the way, but they're different in a way. I mean, it's the same creator like Gendy, but there's something that is like the tone and the story and the whole atmosphere just feels drastically different from each other. And it's just so amazing. Like I didn't even know that. It took me years later that Samurai Jack was made by the same guy who did Dexter's Lab. That is so
Yeah, and then
funny.
there's Primal.
Oh my, don't even get me started with Primal. And then he also did like the Hotel Transylvania movies, if you've seen them.
Real, yeah, makes you think, right? It's sort of like,
Yeah, yeah. And I even got to check out the Star Wars, the Symbionic Titan thing that was it was a thing from like a
yeah.
while back, and then it ended up getting canceled because it didn't sell enough toys, apparently. So I guess it kind of we were picking bank off. We're going transitioning back into the toy, just bringing that back into the
Can't help it.
conversation.
I mean, toys are part of our life. We grew up with toys, and if we don't, we turn things into toys anyways, like a stick.
I mean, true. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I got my
Uh-oh.
Bowser and
Yeah.
Pikachu plush over here. Oh, did I cut out again?
Oh, for
Okay,
a
just
moment
make
you went,
sure.
and
Oh,
then it just went. It went. You're good.
okay.
Yeah,
That
you
would
did a
be like
cool
a
face.
that would be like a cool poll. This just definitely okay. I got a funny story about. I'm just going off on it so many different places tonight, but yeah. I mean, I got my Bowser and Pikachu plushes, and I just every time I'm like looking at them, I'm like, yeah, I. It's kind of like I never grew up. We're just kind of all like Peter Pan. We just never grow up and just never out. we just never let go of our inner child, you know?
Hmm. I mean, a kid or a child is just a human that just has less
Exactly.
experience. That's all.
Yeah. And about the freezing thing, so I don't know if you took Richard Horvitz like weekend one of these.
No, I haven't learned from Richard Horvitz.
Oh yeah, well, great. Just want to give you a
I know I heard
bit
great
of
things
this.
about Richard Horvitz.
Yeah, so we were doing a workshop and this was right around like November or so of 2020, but like right when, COVID and everything just skyrocketed. And
Oh.
he, I think it was his Spectrum internet connection. So he froze. So we were seeing like for like a solid 2, 3 minutes or so. And then he switched to his phone. So we were getting like two Richards. We were just getting like this Richard and then just getting the Richard that is actually like talking like this. So it was really funny to me. Yeah. And then he was telling a lot of stories about Marlon Brando, and it was just a lot of fun. So if you haven't heard it, then definitely take his workshop if you ever do. I think he tells it in every whenever he has new students, so it's worth it.
Hmm.
And plus, you get to learn from like Invader Zim. I mean, hey, can't beat that. Yeah, I think we're kind of like, what else is there to really talk about?
Oh, we talked about as much as we can, but we have to probably make a skedaddle or else the internet will eat you.
Fair. So,
It did eat our
any,
Zoom call. It did.
yeah, it ate our Zoom call for just a little bit, but now it's probably gonna come back with a vengeance.
A vengeance.
I am the knight. I am Batman. Oh, were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just saying, like, Zoom internet. No, no, Batman wouldn't eat our internet. How dare
No, he
you? You're
wouldn't
the
do that.
Joker.
I cannot do Joker, so uh but yeah, it's just kind of like, no, you're bad. Bad Zoom. Bad.
Bad internet. No,
You
naughty internet.
Yeah, you try to take our voices for AI. You're bad Zoom. Yeah.
Nah.
Calling out a company on a live podcast. Totally
Yeah.
not
I mean, having it,
sponsored.
yeah, it's not so much as saying unalive that gets you demonetized. It's calling out the company.
Calling out a company. Oh boy, can't wait for us to lose our jobs.
No.
So, yeah, I guess we'll probably conclude this in the finale. Just, rejoin once again. I put this on myself to just go over an hour. So, see y'all in the
I'm
finale.
sorry.
If you're able to stick around this long, then good for you. Alrighty. I'll see you in a bit.
Oh, final
Yeah.
thoughts or no?
Yeah, we'll just do it in the finale. So let me just stop here and we'll just
Okay, do I
rejoin.
stop the recording?
Yes.